Why do people lack the self-esteem or self-confidence? And what is your take on that?
Okay, thank you very much, Bishop, for having me. And then I'll extend my greetings to your viewers and then your listeners as well. Um, First of all, I'll start on this premise. The gift everybody has,
Mm-hmm.
and every individual, should I say, every creature of God has, is one, the person's self.
Okay.
And so, as a start, before you even come to know the one who created you, the first thing I think you have to even consider more is even the knowledge of yourself.
Okay.
The knowledge of yourself. Because taking the Bible, for instance, many are the times that the Bible even compares how we should love each other, people,
Mm-hmm.
by how we love ourselves,
Yeah.
making us understand that the personhood is the central point of everything.
Okay.
Now, after you have come to know yourself
Mm-hmm.
and then your God,
Yeah.
you will have to get confidence in yourself. The Bible says,
After you have known
yourself,
yourself, just as he said, Reverend said,
uh-huh,
and known your God.
God, your next thing is confidence in yourself.
So how do you know yourself if you're not
So
confident?
that is where you start from.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that
Yeah.
is where you start from. And knowledge of self, it's I mean, we get to know it, let me put it that way.
Okay.
But just that as we are growing, as we grow along the line
Mm-hmm.
of life, we just let go this knowledge, this pursuit of knowledge.
Okay.
It is there. In fact, when a child is growing, they are curious about self. They are
Mm-hmm.
curious about why they are having a flat chest and their mom is having a curved one.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They are curious about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But then as time goes on, they let go this knowledge.
Okay.
Okay, and then they start to pursue what is around them.
Okay.
You get where
I
I'm coming from.
understand.
So that is the first knowledge. That was where I'll start knowing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
knowing your God, and then it is from the knowledge you know about yourself that is what will boost your confidence.
Mm-hmm.
You get it? If you don't know yourself, then your confidence becomes diminished. That's the point. A fish knows he's a fish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it is when the fish comes to understand that I am a fish, and this is where I am.
So
That is
I'm not even fighting to go to the animal
To
kingdom
fly.
to fly. That's the
that is
word.
the point.
You're not even worry yourself when people are flying,
Mm-hmm.
when people are running through the forest,
It's not your
because
place.
it's not your place, because you know that's not your place. So it's self-discovery.
Sure.
That is the
Yeah.
point. Once you get yourself, when you discover yourself adequately, your confidence comes in. You get to know where you're supposed to be. You get to know your jurisdiction. You get to know your domain, and you don't struggle to impress anyone. It is when you have not found yourself that is when you struggle to do so many things. You get where I'm
I
coming
get you.
from.
I get you, but I'm
Uh-huh.
really getting.
So that is how I started. Now, after you have come to know yourself, another thing too is that we are not. It's also about your environment. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
The next thing becomes your environment. So your environment either helps you to know yourself, and then after you have known yourself, you relate well with your environment. So knowledge of yourself, knowledge of your God, knowledge of your environment. That is when you can really live
What do you
life
mean by
adequately.
knowledge of your environment? How does that feed into the self-esteem thing?
Okay, so knowledge of your environment in the sense that, let's put it this way. Let me bring out this scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you get to your room, for
Mm-hmm.
instance. You are always comfortable in your room,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know where you put what.
Okay.
So working in your room, in fact, you are confident when you are in your room. You know you kept this remote here. So if you need a remote, you just go straight to the remote.
Okay.
You know you kept this thing here. So it boosts your working.
Yeah.
It boosts your confidence as to
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so if you know you want to prepare soup, you know that okay, I can prepare soup within this minute. Why? Because you know where your this is, and you know where your kitchen is, you know where.
Yeah.
So in the same light, when you as the individual know yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know where you are, you know where things are,
Mm-hmm.
you are relating well with these institutions, as
Okay.
Reverend said, then you would be able to know how to work effectively without struggling.
So you know the system in which you're operating.
That is it.
Is that what if I
That's it.
understand it?
So that the system,
Uh-huh.
knowing just the system is just should I say a layer of it.
Okay. Whole environment in which you can operate your self identity.
That is the point.
Is that the point that I understand?
That is the point
Okay,
I'm going.
so it means that first of all, after you find yourself, you have to know in which area can I push this discovered self to make the best of impact? Is that if I understand?
That is the point.
Okay.
That is the point. So let's take it for instance. You've discovered that, for instance, I have discovered that I'm a talkative. Okay,
Yeah.
I've discovered that I'm a
Okay.
talkative. I don't have to struggle to say I want to be a doctor. No, doctors don't talk that much.
that's, a, that's a very interesting point.
Yeah, doctors don't talk that much.
They write a lot,
They
brother.
write a lot. Doctors they don't talk much. So if I want to work well in the environment that foster mind discovery, then should be a journalist, I should be a speaker,
Into
I should be a
artist,
pastor, I should be a writer, those people are talkatives. So you should know yourself, discover yourself, one, discover where you fit in your surrounding, discover that one, and then you move there, you fit in there, and then you do your job.
Do you have a personal? Can you share with us some of the how to discover self then?
Okay.
Some few thoughts on that. Then I want us to come to why do you think that? How do we let people understand that suicide is not the option to be taking during challenges?
Okay, so I'll
So I'll ask both of you that
you've asked
question.
about 3
Yeah, I'll ask both of you answer that question.
Okay.
But the first one is what are some of the things you think that I wish that I can discover? This is what I have to. This is me. We've talked about seeing a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, because he said they have a laid down procedure to help you. What other things do you also have that you think we can?
Okay, so I always go back to the family.
Yeah.
Because I feel the family is the basic unit of every society, and every person is born into a family.
Okay.
Sometimes, depending on where you find yourself, the family in which you find yourself, the family can help you discover yourself or can help you diminish yourself.
That is your family.
That's your family. That is the basis. That is the basis, your family. And then sometimes there are certain families too, like a child is born to a particular family. Say and put those things, they've changed it. Back in the days, you will be born in a family and then your mom or dad will realize that, child, I don't have the capacity to nurture this child. So I would want to give this child to a teacher, to an opinion leader in the community, so that the person will help the child grow. So there are times it might not be your biological family. It might be someone that's your foster family, let me put it that way. Sometimes it might be among your friends, your peers. So all these people, in fact, basically I would go to the very minimum, because not all of us are privy to psychologists.
Yeah.
And then some in our jurisdiction, how many psychologists do we even have? But then to the family level, everybody has a family. Everybody is coming from a community.
Yeah.
And then but the basis still goes back to you, the individual, discovering yourself from yourself. Once you get to know who you are, then sometimes it will help you know which people you are supposed to be with. So you start from yourself, you move from your family, and then you go to your friends, and then to your churches, to your church, to your school, to your even the social media. The social media is a vast universe on its own.
Yeah, it's a whole universe.
So
it's an ecosystem.
That is the point. So you just have
social media is an ecosystem.
It's just as you're saying. So once you discover yourself, then you know which ecosystem in the social media you are aligning yourself to. So my basic will go to first you, the individual, the family you find yourself, and then the peers around you. And that is where I would settle.
Rev, let's address depression on the aspect of low self-esteem, because sometimes it is when you feel that there is no way out of it. That's why people choose depression, suicide. So from your angle, what are some of the things that can be said about dealing with challenges? Because I was looking at low self-esteem may be the contributing factor to thinking that the only solution is taking your life. So what would you say?
No, Bishop,
to that?
Not to catch you.
Okay.
I think before we even go to low self-esteem with regards to suicide, I think that is even a vast travel.
Okay.
That is a speed of that we should rather focus more on the starting effect of low self-esteem.
Okay. Okay.
Before
So
we even
so
get,
so
because
let's listen to
so
your
the,
starting effect of low
the starting
self-esteem.
the starting effect of low
Because
self-esteem.
it's an issue. Oh.
Ah,
It's
no,
like joke. It's a serious issue happening in the system now.
it's a silent issue. Most people, you will not hear them talking
Yeah.
about it, like
Yeah.
maybe marriage, they bring
Yeah.
it on TV.
Yeah.
So people have it and they just silently.
Yeah. They
in
are
fact,
dealing with it.
that is even the reason why I don't want us to speed off to suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are certain people, they might never commit suicide, but
But
they will deal with low self-esteem till they die.
yeah.
Sure.
So, knowing yourself, you know your jurisdiction, you know your God, you know your everything. Once you have this knowledge, then you work effectively, just as we said. When you don't have this knowledge, and you might even have it in a particular degree, but if you don't have it adequately, it affects everything you do on earth. For instance, knowing yourself as a teacher will help you choose your career as a teacher.
This is a silent killer.
To help you choose yourself as a teacher,
Yeah.
I can confidently say today there are a lot of people who find themselves in several professions,
Yeah.
and in fact even in several callings of religious whatever, that those people with a deep introspection about themselves will realize that that field
It's a wrong meat.
it's more
It's a
like
wrong
putting a
meat.
square hole, a square peg in
Yeah.
a round
It's
hole.
a wrong meat.
It's a wrong meat.
Yeah.
And so when you find yourself in such a way, in such an area, you start to feel unfulfillment, no matter the amount of money they're giving you, no matter the amount of hands that are clapping for you, the number of hands that are clapping for you, you still don't feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
And when you also, that is one thing, you
Yeah.
don't feel fulfilled, lack of fulfillment. And then two, you also don't feel in tune with yourself as an individual.
Yeah. You feel that you are performing someone's actions.
That is
You are performing somebody's duties.
you
You are not you.
you don't feel the touch of yourself. I don't know how to.
That's
how
right.
To really,
People who are going through that, they understand.
you don't feel that. You don't feel the
Yeah.
touch of yourself.
You see that as if you are playing the drama.
You're acting.
You
You're just
are
acting in a scene
you're
that
acting
you're
live.
not comfortable with.
Yeah, you're acting.
You get
That
it?
is not you.
That is not you. And then you don't find happiness in what you do.
That's right.
So lack of fulfillment, lack of touch with self, lack of happiness or joy in the things you do, and then most of the times too, you don't feel
It's frustration.
frustration. But before I even get to, you don't feel happiness. You don't find joy in doing certain little things.
Okay.
You don't find a joy in doing these things. So you always want to have the rush of euphoria. You always want to have the rush of joy, and then you always try to seek out for these sources of rush of dopamine.
You want a like, you want a follow, you want subscribe, you want people to comment, because that is what makes you feel that maybe you two are somebody. But just as Reverend said, when the social media is shut down, you realize that you don't have a self.
Let us not even go to the social media.
Well,
Even before we even get to the social media, among your peers and then in your community, you realize that you are doing more for little.
Yeah.
Why am I saying you're doing more for little? You can, because you are not feeling touched, you are not feeling comfortable where you find yourself, you can even, as a woman, you can give sex. You can give your entire body to anybody at all, so that the person will just say that, oh, you are good. Or just say that you're a bad girl.
Because you want that those
You want
things.
that sense of belonging.
Yeah,
You want
yeah.
that. So you give a lot for something
It's
small.
like a fish, you find yourself in the forest.
That is the point.
And you are struggling in the forest.
You are struggling.
Yeah.
Because as a woman, you have not gotten in tune with yourself. You've not gotten in tune with how precious you are as a woman. Then you tend to look out for
Ways to be pleased,
any man at all, just to make you feel you are a woman.
Is it an emptiness?
That's all.
That's the word.
You become empty because you don't know yourself. So you are walking, you don't know anything about yourself. So these are the things. People are in toxic relationship, toxic marriages, because they have not found themselves.
That's right.
And so they have lost their self-esteem. I always tell friends, female friends around me, that the mere fact that you are born a woman, is enough reason to celebrate yourself.
Tomorrow is Mother's Day, by the way.
Anyway, you can be naked You can be naked, for lack of a proper word. You can be naked on the street. But the mere fact that you are a woman, you should see yourself as a precious being.
That's right.
Irrespective of what you wear, irrespective of what you don't wear, irrespective of what you eat, irrespective of what you don't eat, you should find yourself, you should value yourself as an entity, as a precious being. And as a human being, as a man, you should see yourself as the zenith of God's creation.
Okay.
In fact, God finished everything and He said, "Let us make man to take dominion over the earth."
That's right. So it's self-worth.
It's self-worth.
Well, you should see that it is not the things or the achievements that make you worth God's love, or that makes you to be somebody. You are somebody without those things.
Bishop, the things we see, Rev, I'm taking all the time, forgive me. The things you see, okay? The things we see, the cars, the clothes, the laptops, the technologies, the inventions, all of these are products of self-esteem.
Okay.
Are products of people who first discovered themselves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then they began to discover things. They began to discover
Soft problems.
words. That is it. It is when you discover yourself. That is when you discover what is in line with who you are. And then you bring it to the world. You bring it to the glare of people.
People are dying inside.
What we see here, Bishop, what we see here, see the world as the whole world is just a dump of people's inventions. Oh yes, it's just a dump of people's inventions. It is not
people
real.
invented this and dumping it to them because
yes, the reality is what you feel within. The reality is within you. These things are it's just like a rubbish dump.
When you are alone on your,
that's why you can have plenty and later
yeah,
you live all here.
They are not
life. I think Jesus made a statement that a man's life does not consist of the abundance of things he has.
It's so actually true. The name is actually things, and it remains things, nothing more.
That's the point.
It still remains things.
So, Bishop, it's so when you have gone through all of these turmoil of inadequacy, then you conclude it, you climax it. In fact, you tie the ribbon. Most of the people tie the ribbon when they have done a lot just to be who they are. They've done a lot, but they realize that Charlie, none is working, because that is not the formula. They've realized that none is working. Then Charlie, they realize they feel life is not worth it, because first of all, you don't even understand the essence of life. You have not come to understand the essence of your life, so you see it as worthless. And just as the Bible says, you don't pick your precious pearls and then you cast it to swine. But if you only realize, you will only not cast it to swine when you, the person, realize that this is a precious pearl.
And it doesn't belong to swine.
That is it. You realize it is a pearl, because of course we don't give pearls to swine. So if you realize it's a pearl, then you wouldn't give it to swine. But if you don't see it as a pearl, you just see it as a stone, and then you might cast it to the swine.
And some people have already casted it already.
Because they don't understand
it. It's very important for I with this topic. We had gotten the time to do it live on air. It's seriously, and maybe one of these days, maybe next month or something, we'll do it live on air, on radio as well. But this one is only on social media. So, and social media too is where a lot of these things are happening. So, Rem, address the issue of self-discovery in the context of not ending your life.
Not end. Okay. Two old men had a problem, the same problem. He was complaining that he has lost. I think there was a natural disaster, and I don't know what the natural disaster took everything. So maybe it took everything, spoiled the house, and so he was saying he has lost everything. And then he went to a psychologist. And the psychologist, you see, psychologists always look at life from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Why the man was looking at life from another perspective, saying, I've lost everything. So later the psychologist helped him to know that if you have lost everything, even you still have something. Because the man was saying, I've finished. I don't have anything again. All my life has gone. And the psychologist said, calm down. You have some things.